reliability into three points where, pardon me, if draw my attention if I'm being a bit too technical, so that I speak to the understanding of my customers. Okay, so we have what we call availability, the power being available. Without the power being available, we'll not be able to have this conversation. Without the power being available, nobody would be able to use electricity. So availability, the power needs to be available.
And for it to be available, it comes from GridCo, or from where?
From it's a breakdown from the producer to GridCo and then to ECG.
So VRA, GridCo, ECG.
Yes. So let's say the IPPs, the power independent power producers, inclusive to the state-owned power producers. So then we have an interface called a bulk supply point. Now the bulk supply point is where we have an interface between ECG and then GridCo. And then from there we go to our various major substations that are basically hidden from the customers, and then you have the individual transformers that you have. So that is the transformation, So, but having availability simply means that minimizing outage, or not having the outage at all. Okay. So let's put that one aside. We'll come back to it.
But so, in terms of the availability, let me just chip in this question before we go any further. When it comes to quantum, the amount of megawatts that Ashanti needs.
I am coming to that.
Okay.
I am coming to that. And that's why I'm saying that I'm breaking it into reliability into three. Right. So there's the availability bit where the power must be available. So it means that there shouldn't be any break from wherever it is coming from. So power is continuous. So it must be, it must come from the producer. It will get to GridCo. It should get to ECG, where we transform it into different voltage levels, and then we can serve our customers. That's availability. Then we come to what we call adequacy. Adequacy is what you being, a little bit into energy would call capacity.
Okay.
Where the megawatts and all that is the capacity bit. Then we would come to quality, the quality of it, the voltage levels,
whether low or
high, whether it's able to, and then I would want to also educate my customers a little bit. What ordinarily we would call low current is actually low voltage. Okay, so the current is what you draw from the system, and then the voltage is what we provide. So that is the reliability bit. And all of these 3 points of reliability come together to make sure that the customer is actually served and served well. Okay. So when we come to reliability and we come to availability, now availability in its sense simply means that keeping the lights on. Now keeping the lights on has its own issues. So the preparedness of ECG when it comes to these matters is that, one, we need to be able to identify any form of hazard and eliminate the hazard to prevent the outage in the first place. And then also to be ready to, bring the power back on in the event of any outage. So it means that there should be a system that is in place to make sure that, one, we may either maintain or fix the problem when it comes in.
Okay.
So the challenges that may come also would include, some are external, and these external could include GridCo outages as well. And outages does not necessarily mean that there's an adequacy or capacity issue. So there could be technical problems that may come in that may prevent our customers from having that continuous supply that they require. So those are the issues. Then we'll come to the capacity. The capacity is where we take from GridCo through all the independent power producers and all the state-owned producing companies and all that. In the past few days, we haven't had, any major GridCo outage. There's been 1 or 2 issues that we've had, but I wouldn't say that we've had any major GridCo outage that suggests that it's going to be a sustained issue throughout the festivities. ECG is always ready every point in time to provide that level of reliability to our customers. And when it even comes to the festivities, we even do more, and to make sure that, that Christmas is actually enjoyed. So in a nutshell, that is reliability, and that is what we are enjoying to do.
So as we speak, and listeners, we are streaming on YouTube now. It's Love FM 99.5 on YouTube, so you can join us on YouTube and follow the conversation. He's a very handsome guy, but he's already taken. Just check him out on YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now as we talk. So it's Love FM 99.5. So what you're saying is that there's no doom so.
No.
What you're saying is that there might be some challenges, but you don't foresee them coming.
Yes.
I asked a question about the quantum that we need, and do we have that quantum?
Okay.
Because again, when you get to peak periods, and I said, for example, yesterday I had 3 outages, short but disturbing. Because let's say you're following a program on television and then it goes off. If we don't have a refrigerator guard or TV guard or some guard of a sort, your appliances are going to suffer, if you're not home especially. So what do we need in terms of quantum? What do we have? We have all that we need?
I just, I was on the phone with sub-transmission people, trying to get the data and everything. And averagely, we are doing about 400 megawatts
for the region,
in the whole of the region. So let me also say that there are 5 different BSPs, bulk supply points, within the entire Ashanti region. There's one at Konongo. There's one at just behind us at Angumaso, just before us. There's a major one at Rage. And there's one for Dunkwao and then Obuasi. When you put all of that together, we are doing about 400 megawatts averagely. The maximum that we've had is about 407. And constantly we are doing that.
Is that to say that the 400 we have supplies all, or we do 350 and we have some 50 something, as backup when the need arises? I mean, what is the consumption pattern like?
Okay, so that is I'm talking about the consumption pattern, the average consumption.
So that is the 400,
the
407,
407 maximum. Yeah, that's the average consumption. In terms of capacity that is sitting at the various BSPs, we have big higher capacity than whatever that we are consuming. Okay. So
we're good.
We are good.
We're good
in terms of capacity at the stations.
You mentioned Greco, and there are occasions where outages occur, sometimes for some period, and the information that we get from the ECG is Greco that knocked off some megawatts. Don't they give you heads up? Don't they communicate to you so you're also able to communicate to your customers so we know what is happening rather than being left in the dark?
Okay, so it's a very important question, and I would say that Greco and ECG are basically, the same people, and we are doing virtually the same things. And we have technical meetings all the time. We have technical meetings every quarter to know the consumption pattern, to know the development pattern of each of the companies. If we enjoin our customers to let us know that when they are going up in terms of their consumption, we are also enjoined to let grid code know when we are also doing some major development within our operations. And we have these discussions all the time. We have technical meetings either in our office or in their office. And then, any imminent major issue is also discussed. Okay. But the way power behaves is that when you lose some form of production, let me put it that way, some form of generation, and you are almost at the peak of generation, there's a possibility that you would lose some bit of your frequency. So the frequency will start dropping. Now, when the frequency starts dropping, the only thing you have to do is that you have to reduce load. So you have to probably take some loads off. In that particular instance, we understand the system. They also understand that we cannot plunge the entire country into darkness. And then as such that within that particular period, we need to reduce load. So that is what may happen. But then if it is something that is going to be prolonged, or if it's something that is anticipated, or they are going to have some major maintenance that requires that we have a setting schedule. That one is actually communicated, and then we let our customers also know. So there could be these isolated cases of dumping, what we call dumping.
But don't you have a WhatsApp platform where they can quickly tell you the challenge they have and place it on the platform, and then you can also communicate same to us?
Sometimes you have to. There's the platforms are there. We are on the same platforms with the operators. The various operators are on the same platform, and then it's actually communicated. It's communicated above our heads as well.
Okay.
The various CEOs are aware. The various communication directors are aware of what could be
before it trickles down.
Before it actually comes down. So
definitely we'll be in the dark for some time. Where are we with Ameri? Because I've had this Ameri conversation for quite some time now. Ameri is supposed to come to Ashanti region. Yedeba. We've missed a couple of schedules. Where are we with Ameri, the plant right now?
David, I think you should get Gridco into the studio sometime.
they refuse to speak. They refuse to speak. Yes. We try so hard. I used to have this friend, Raphael. He moved away from Gridco to I think a bank. So I'm still struggling. But Charlie, you're here, and Charlie, you're a general manager of Ashanti South. So where are we with Ameri?
The last conversation that we had in terms of our technical meeting, that was the third quarter. The Ameri is almost here. The most important thing is the gas pipeline, which is virtually at Angumaso, right? Almost at Angumaso. The
gas pipeline is almost at Angumaso.
Yes, it's almost at Angumaso. It's past. That's the last time I was speaking to you. We've passed the Bekwai, and we are almost in Kumasi. So immediately the gas pipeline arrives, then when is it going to arrive? I am not privy to. We've not had the fourth quarter technical meeting. So maybe we can be able to provide that information when.
But any assurances? Can you hazard some assurances to us as to maybe first quarter 2024, second quarter 2024? Some assurances you can give.
Oh, I think by the end of first quarter 2024 we would have gotten somewhere with Ameri. We would have been almost ready with Ameri. And the good thing is that when you have generation within the operational area, then isolated issues of dumping may not occur because then the load will be closer to the generation. We have something we call load center, where you are actually within, the operational area. When you have that, then you would be able to manage the system a lot better.
I remember when we had a meeting on Saturday, and the CEO joined us via Zoom. He mentioned second quarter. Can I sit here and work with that one too?
His is above mine.
But what is Ameri plan supposed to do for Ashanti region anyway?
So that's what I was saying. What I was trying to allude to, the fact that Ashanti as a major load, 400 megawatts.
Yeah. Sometimes 407.
407 is almost about 300 kilometers away from almost all the producing plants. And power needs to travel over a certain distance. And so that is why you have Gridco transmitting around 160, 161 kV and then 330 kV. So it means that the higher the voltage, the longer the distance that you can travel. So but then when you have the plant within the operational area, it improves voltage, and then it also gives you isolated capacity. So the capacity is actually sitting within the operational area. This 400 and something megawatts, Ameri is about 250. There are other power plants that are also coming on around the Angumasu area. Aska and all those ones are also coming in. So Ashanti may probably be on its own, maybe an island on its own, where we would have all the power that is sitting within the.
And availability to be solid and strong.
Solid and strong.
Is Ameri being used right now?
I'm not too sure I can answer that question. I don't have the information.
Then I don't know whether to ask my follow-up question because if the gas pipeline has passed Bekwai, is that close? Why don't you bring the Ameri and start doing all that we need to do? So when the gas comes in, we can easily say, hey, it's functioning, rather than we're still hoping and waiting till Ameri, the gas gets here finally.
Ameri are generating, plants that are movable on wheels.
Yeah.
So assembling them,
it's not a problem.
It's not a problem at all.
Ghana, they will know.
Oh no.
All right, so speaking to us this morning is engineer Frederick Kwabena Bediako. He's general manager for Ashanti South, that is ECG. We're talking about how stable our supply of power would be this Christmas. And so we're asking you, what are your expectations of the ECG? Do you have any challenge or challenges, anything you want the ECG to address for you? He's a big man. He's got, almost all the answers. So just join us on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp, number is 05511119995. Again, it is 05511119995. Let's talk about meter issues. Many people have complained, that they have applied for meters. Assurances have been given. Sometimes they have even, been given some amount of money to ECG, and they haven't gotten their meters. Now, when it happens like that, some of them would want to go through the back door, do illegal connections, and get meters and all that. Aside from that, I know that ECG at one point in time, when the public, sector, some public sectors like the GBC and co were not able to pay their bills because they are using postpaid and not necessarily prepaid. ECG says, listen, let's change every meter in the system and make it prepaid, so you buy your own meters. Where are we with meters as we speak right now?
Thank you, David. Meter issues, it's always difficult questions to answer. But then again, I would also want to apologize to our cherished customers, possible customers that have applied for meters and have not been able to get these meters. So in the wisdom of the managing director and his directors, they decided to come up with this program we call the LRP, the Loss Reduction Program. And the whole purpose of that particular project is to make meters available for our prospective customers. The essence of it is to have meter producing companies within the country, and then they install these meters for customers and then operate them for a couple of years. Within that the guarantee period, any meter that's becomes faulty would be the prerogative of that particular meter producing company to replace. So that proof of concept is actually going on. It's happening in some districts in Accra. We've started in the western part of Ashanti, that's Ashanti West, and it's even though it's not been as expected.
When it's as expected, what do you mean?
It means that the pace has been a bit slow, but we anticipate that we would have about 800,000 meters within the coming year, 2024.
Currently, how many meters do we have? Do you have an idea?
In terms of the existing customers?
No, the new ones. But people who have applied for. Do you have meters available so that people who have applied for meters can have meters?
We do not have meters available now, especially the single-phase prepaid meters. For postpaid customers, we have a lot of meters available.
But are we still using postpaid meters? Should we be using postpaid meters?
Okay, so it is not every jurisdiction that we can have prepaid, and we are not even out of the woods if we decide to use prepaid, because if you do not do any form of monitoring, then obviously somebody would be pretending to be buying the electricity that he's consuming with a lot of bypasses. So prepayment metering also needs various degrees of monitoring to make sure that whatever that is expected to be purchased is what is actually being purchased. For prepayment, for some quite rural areas, like especially within places like Ashanti South, where you would have ICT challenge issues or ICT issues, post-payment is still the way to go. And so customers within those areas may not be suffering in terms of application for meters. So the LRP is coming, and
what is on the LRP? Is what?
That's the loss reduction project, and that is what is expected to be the A game and this meter issues.
This production of meters locally, how many companies have shown interest, or how many local companies are into this?
For now, we have about 6.
6.
We have about 6.
Have they begun work?
Yes.
They begun producing.
Okay. They are working in Dodowa, Denta, and some other.
Are they Ghanaian owned businesses?
Yes, Ghanaian owned businesses.
Okay, that's nice. And these are smart meters as well.
Yes, very smart meters.
Very smart meters. Okay. Mr. Bediako, people complain about going to buy meter, prepaid, and sometimes, the system is down. A lot of people have their cards missing. They want to use their card to own their cards and buy their prepaid, credits. They can't have cards. When you call ECG, you need card. So we don't have meters, we don't have cards. System sometimes down, we're not able to buy the credit. Illegal connections will go up. Goro boys will do all the manner of things that they do. What can you tell us about all this? We moved on a bit from the meter, but let's talk about acquisition of credits when the system is down, cards not available and all that.
Excuse me, I'm trying to find an application on my phone.
So whilst he finds the application on his phone, listen, our WhatsApp number actually is still active. You can send your questions and your contributions into 05511119995. All right. In a bit, about 2 minutes or so after he answers this question, we'll be activating the phone lines, so you can also engage with Mr. Bediako, who is right here with us in the studios of Love 99.5. All right. So
David, there are various challenges that our customers are facing, and those are the ones that you some of them is what you actually alluded. The card issues is a very serious issue that we are attempting to solve. The problem is that we are moving away from these on smart meters. And as I said, LRP is supposed to come in and change these on smart meters with smart meters. So the production of the cards are a bit slow, or probably the cards are not even available.
Are they producing Ghana?
No, they're not producing Ghana. They're producing China.
Okay.
And so these are some of the issues that we are trying to address with the LRP, where we would have post-project support system in the country, and then we know where to go when we're having issues.
But as we speak, your customers are struggling and suffering. What are you doing to alleviate that struggle, that suffering?
I was, as I said, I was trying to find an application. There are some apps that have been created for these situations. I'll find the app and probably give it to you, and then you may tell our customers in due course. But the other bit also is that if you have any neighbor that has any of the cards that's working, we can reprogram it, and then you can purchase. It's a discomfort.
Yeah.
It's a major discomfort for our customers.
So is that to say that these cards are no more going to be produced and brought to Ghana? Is that what it is?
They are being produced, but the rate that is coming in is a bit, slow.
High.
It's slow, as I said.
Oh, okay.
And then, the attrition rate in terms of them being damaged is also quite high. Where sometimes we do not take care of it a little bit. These are magnetic cards. When they come even close to your phone
becomes a
challenge and all that.
But you didn't give that information or education. A lot of people do not know this. So you see them with their phones, and at the back of it where their case is, they put the ECG card there, and definitely it becomes a challenge.
Yes. And there's this application that also works with the card, where you can easily use your phone, and then when you touch it with your phone, and then it works and all that. So we are trying.
But the online purchase is how efficient and effective. I mean, ECG says they're going cashless. Yeah. So if you're going cashless, we should buy credits using, all these things available. How efficient and effective are they?
To quote the managing director when he met, the media men, we have almost 4 million customers on the app now. So suggestively, it's actually catching on with Ghanaians. And the whole purpose of all of these cashless system in as much as possible to provide that level of comfort to our customers. And that is what we seek to do. But then again, most of these applications are hosted on external apps that we may not probably have too much control over.
Okay.
In terms of whether you're having communication issues, network issues that are external to ECG operations. Those are things that may, affect the system a little bit. But to the best of our knowledge, our customers are much more happier with the system than it used to be.
I hear you. A couple of distractions happening in the studios. Listeners, you can join our conversation on 03220-83596, 03220-83597, 03220-83598. For your information, that conversation with Kojo Entry is coming up your way shortly. It's a big promise. Kojo Entry is going to be joining us in the studios shortly. So call us on the phone lines on 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. I've seen some ECG stuff in the company of some military officers on our roads in people's homes. Yes. And then I'm here. Let's go to the phone lines first. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David Akwete. How are you, sir?
Yourself, I am well, Afishapa.
After I'm coming to you, David, I feel say no one just can be why.
Amen.
We can't no one be because David, I want to comment ECG. In my area, there have been frequent outages, but I think for the past 2 weeks, I can say without no fear that we've not had any outage. I think it's a major boost for us, but the people in my area are very happy. I just want to commend them for that. But they should keep on doing that. And I want to say that this year has been a very difficult year for Ghanaians. So the only thing that can suit our faith more is that we will have a power on so that we can watch some movies, watch some ETL matches, at least just to console us a bit. So we beg them.
I hear you.
Well,
thank you very much, Christoph. Hi, good morning.
Hello.
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 Hello, good morning.
Oh, is that?
All right. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dave.
Yes, Kofi, welcome.
Dave, sometimes it is very, very disheartening. In fact, very annoying when you are facing the reality of doomsday and somebody will come and tell you that what you are experiencing is not true. Meanwhile, the person is not living in your area. Look, anybody living in Ashtown here, particularly Odumase, will attest to the fact that we have been having these power outages indiscriminately these days. In fact, as we speak this morning, we have had about 3 outages. And before the day goes out, the day ends, we might have about 6 or 7. And somebody is telling us that there's availability, capacity, whatever city. If it is a fault, how long will it take ECG to solve this problem?
So he's going to give you an answer. Please note it down for me. He called from Ashtown. Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, what's your name and please go ahead.
I'm called Charity. I'm screaming from Achimabubu. Just as the man was explaining the questions, our lives have gone off again. And this thing has been almost every other day, there will be light off in this area. Don't know whether we are part of this Ashanti region. And we are tired, sick and tired and fed up with this sort of thing.
Charity,
every
thanks.
Day, there will be light to go off.
So he's noting them down. He's going to give us responses. Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, David.
Yes, boss. What's your name?
My name is Kwame.
Kwame, let's hear you, sir. Welcome.
Yes, David. I'm calling from Ashumaboko. And I must say we are experiencing a huge improvement with regard to our power supply. Some months or years ago, as soon as it rained, the power went off. But that's not the case now. So I want to say kudos to ECG for that. My other issue is I have 7 meters where I live. One of them is very old, more than 10 years. And then the 6 other ones are new. I got them from an assembly member, and it has recently been captured by ECG. And ECG is saying that I have to come and pay over 1,000 cedis for the 6 remaining meters at each of them, more than 1,000 cedis. But I have credit on the old one, more than 10,000 cedis. And I'm asking them to use part of my credit to defray any amount I owe them. And it's a challenge. So I want the manager to help me to address that. Thank you.
I mean, before you go, I said on the old meter you have like 10,000 cedis. How come? All right, I hear you, Kwame. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
This is Bafo.
Bafo Shapa to you. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Just as Kofi said, it's almost a ritual these days. A Ija extension, for example. Almost every 3 days, you have it going off in the evening from 6 p.m. to somewhere 1 a.m. Every 3 days. I can bet my last coin that today it might come. Sometimes too, during the daytime, you have it off for like 3 hours. So at least somebody should explain what it is and when that problem will be solved. Going into the Christmas, are we to have 6 p.m.?
Well, Bafo, thank you very much for joining us. And you know, when the outages occur around 6 p.m., that is doom so, because that's a peak time. So please note it down and respond to them for me. Hi, good morning. So that he needs to respond to them before we go back onto the phone line. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So these conversations, and that's the reason why we are here anyway.
Yeah.
To make sure that we allay the fears of our customers, and to also let them know that we are there for them. We are grateful to the one that called from Abepo to commend us for the work that we are doing.
Christoph, yeah.
And David, maybe one time after the festivities, we would want to come in again and let you know the extent of financial outlay that has gone into the network within Ashanti within the past 5 years. You would be amazed. Intermittent supply in Ashtown, that would be looked into.
All right, so before can we do part 2 tomorrow? I know Kojo Entry is coming through, so we're rushing this conversation. Can we have a second conversation? My producer is communicating with me. Yeah, so there's a lot of messages that people need to address. Can we have a part 2? Let's agree.
Okay.
So part 2 tomorrow. We're having part 2 tomorrow. So we don't rush. So I don't get to rush the other questions that I have as well. Yes. So please address them for me.
So intermittent supply within the network. That is what I attempted to explain right from the beginning. That outages are not necessarily capacity issues. So if you have intermittent, so we have what we have some level of automation within the system, secondary automation. And then the purpose of that level of that secondary automation is to attempt to restore power when the system goes off itself.
Explain that further, because I don't get it.
So automation simply means that having an external hand or having a help with technology where the system can detect a fault and attempt to restore the fault.
Okay.
So attempt to restore power.
Okay.
So when the system attempts to restore power, there's a possibility that the
so if I get it correctly, so there's a fault.
Yes.
And the power goes off.
The power goes off.
But the automated system then tries to fix it by itself.
By itself.
Okay.
Then, if it's a sustained fault, so we have something we call unsustained fault or intermittent, outages, where it's something that may come, maybe a crow or something, or a bird may just flap through the lines, and then the system would.
How can a crow, a bird fly through this thing, a line?
Okay, David.
A problem?
Okay, David. So let me be a bit technical now.
Okay.
When you look at our system, and when you look at the ones on the very long poles, you will see that there are 3 lines, there are 3 wires on it.
Yeah.
Anything that bridges any 2 of them would cause a fault.
Okay.
And the system is automated in such a way that this fault will travel back to the substations. And then in order for us to save the system, the fault will cause an outage. Now, it is possible that thing that's bridged it could be a tree branch that just fell on it and then went off.
But that's why you do a lot of pruning, during the raining and even the dry season.
It's possible.
Do a lot of maintenance. Today, ECG says they're shutting off between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. because they want to do maintenance. They be maintenance. So they be a canyan off.
Okay. Canyan de ebe cut off. It is possible to ebe cut off, but a cut off, you be so.
That is inevitable.
Oh.
Because elsewhere, power is stable.
Yes.
It is surprising that when power goes off. Here is a reverse. What we're trying to do, Mr. Bediako, is this. When this gentleman, Leo Stanley, he says there are a lot of comments that have come through on our WhatsApp console.
Okay.
I'm also being informed that there's a lot of calls on our phone lines.
Yes.
But today, we're killing two birds with a stone.
Yes.
So the agreement is for us to have a part 2 tomorrow. If need be, we're going to have a full show tomorrow. And then what we're going to do is this. If you don't mind, please bring along with you the other general managers. The West, the East, your South. Bring them in. So somebody who belongs to the West will get responses. Somebody who is with the East will get responses. Somebody who's with the South will get responses. Can we do that tomorrow?
Yes, we can do that tomorrow. But as I said in the beginning, I've been responsible for the network for the past 7 years. So I know the network left in less. Right?
So with that, then we can still have a conversation.
With that, then we can still have it. But then I'll attempt to bring
that's
them.
my bias.
Yeah.
That's my bias. So listeners, forgive us for truncating into our conversation this morning. There's a lot on our plate today. We're getting to the end of the year. Christmas is here. A lot of things to deal with. So we're booking a date with you. All right. The date is tomorrow morning. Engineer Frederick Kwabena Bediako, General Manager Ashanti South, will be with us. We'll have an extended conversation and address all your issues. All right, that of Bafor, that of Kofi, that of whoever, charity and all. Because Achuma, she mentioned that Charlie, even as we're having this conversation, there's an outage. Can you imagine that was an occasion?
The same Achuma Boku area.
Somebody called
and said that
yes.
so there could be isolated cases that could cause some of these issues. But we would attempt to solve them.
Watching cutting with the swim so now or the tomatoes in the quagum, Nijini. Oh, you go blend them more fine. We soon say cutting come to import and I was because that one you need to have it really well grounded.
Yeah.
So
ECG. Yes. So David, there's also something. So we're going to get there.
Yeah, we'll get there
end
tomorrow.
Of this. So we'll get there tomorrow. There's something we call demand side.
But David, what you said right now, someday, not too long ago, I wanted to have some smoothies. My top pie be saying them they blend the fruit. But we try a day in an area they go blend them. I can't press keke for me to enjoy my thing. You see that.
Listen, all those of you who sent in messages, WhatsApp messages, we are begging you, forgive us. Tomorrow we'll add them all and get you answers. Those of you whose calls we're not able to pick tomorrow, forgive us. Tomorrow we would have the conversation again. In fact, tomorrow we'll activate the phone lines earlier. Questions are kakrebi, they are mature and kakrebi. Then we activate the phone lines so they can engage us. Because bro, your pa with doom so they are no bedding. To cake be pa a question a muna fine. What makes you I say? So let's have this conversation tomorrow. Mr. Diako, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But I like the way you look sharp. You look very sharp. That's nice. And then what of Brother Barting?